Nope. Well, I can't hear anything you're saying. Do you want me to take a picture of what I see and send it to you? There you are.
Huh. Can you hear me too?
I can hear you. I can see you.
Must have been a glitch. Sorry about that.
That's all right. You can edit this, right?
Yeah, well, I can. I can do that, which is fine. Okay. Hopefully Adrian will join us soon, but I don't see her yet. So let's see. That was weird.
It was weird. I don't know what happened.
You know, it's been pretty stable lately, but that doesn't mean it's going to continue to be. So,
Well, you haven't used this before with the video?
oh yeah, no, we've got about 10 videos up on the channel,
Oh,
but we haven't had 3 people at once, so I don't know if that's
oh,
part of it, but it's
hmm.
supposed to be able to handle that, so I don't know. Don't know. But anyway, you're here. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing all right. Yeah.
All right.
How was your trip?
It was amazing.
Uh-huh. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it went really smooth and yeah, it was just amazing to be in Ireland. It felt it felt really different.
Uh-huh. I
Yeah.
bet.
Yeah.
Bet.
Connected with some ancestors there in the spirit realms.
I bet.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there anything in particular you want to talk about tonight or
Um, well, uh, I actually do, I have something to share that you might find really interesting.
no, okay.
Um, well, this winter, it was a lot of people just kind of seemed to kind of go within and go quiet this winter
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of do inner work and just, be focused on that. And I felt the same way, but I was also um, something crossed my path for a forest therapy coaching class.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought, I got this huge nudge like, oh, I need to do that. And it was all online and there was 120 modules.
Oh
And it
wow.
went through, forest bathing. Um, they call it forest therapy in the course, but it's forest bathing, based on
Mm-hmm.
the Japanese Shinrin Yoku, you know, the where you go out in the forest and you're bathing in the forest. And they've kind of rolled that in there with some regular coaching. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so it took me about 4 months to go through all 120 modules and take the
Yeah.
final exam, and
Mhm.
I got my certification
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
spring.
Mhm.
And so I'm really excited to put that to use with working with nature spirits and nature
Mhm.
allies.
Mhm.
And I actually ran into an acquaintance that I dance with
Mhm.
in ecstatic dance, who also is does forest therapy, and he does it through Marigold, the OSU Contemplative Studies program here in
Huh.
Corvallis.
Okay.
And so he had a workshop out in Peavey,
Hmm.
and I went and started chatting with him afterwards, and he was so interested that I was interested. He's like, I know someone else who's doing this as well, and so we're all going to
Cool.
kind of get together and network,
Mhm.
because he's running it through adults, like continuing education.
Sure.
I'm really interested in the spiritual side of it and
Mhm.
working with kids. Um,
Okay.
have their parents bring them all in their fairy gear, have a fairy
Mhm.
tea party,
Sure.
and then go walking out in the forest and having them experience um, what they need to experience, through their child eyes, whether
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
hearing things or seeing things, or just having that wonderful open heartedness that kids have,
Mhm. Mhm.
that they can be like, oh, I think I saw a sparkle fairy over there, or things like that. And they're going to see them,
Sure.
and the fairies are, and the nature spirits, they love interacting with kids, or really with anybody that is interested in interacting with them. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. So I've had one kind of fairy forest tea party
Mhm.
experience with
Mhm.
adults, but they
Uh-huh.
were all friends. I knew them, so it was like, I want to try this. Come and be my test party.
Sure.
It was so much fun.
Oh, that's cool. Where did you end
Yeah.
up going?
We were in PV as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the gazebo, the fireman's shelter there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, it's a nice place to have gatherings, especially when
Mhm.
the weather's iffy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they've got little tables and everything, so we could set
Right.
up our
Mhm.
offerings
Mhm.
and our little
Mhm.
teacups and everything else, and bowls
Mhm.
of
Mhm.
berries, bowls of chocolate.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
that's interesting. Yeah, I was there's a church that meets here in my office building, and one of the congregants I talked about doing a herbal class for kids through her
yeah.
connections. Because there's a lot of interest, at a younger age and in that sort of thing. So I didn't end up making it happen, but I did plan something. But that's cool. That's a great age to start doing that,
Mhm.
actually. So um, that would be really interesting. Um, to talk to you more about that and find out, what your vision is going forward with it for sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a good way to um connect people in nature, people in
Mhm,
nature spirits, and get
mhm,
them used to thinking about nature spirits as beings. And
mhm,
um, once people start doing that, if you're friends with a tree, you can't cut it down. Or
mhm,
if you do
mhm,
cut it down because you have to,
mhm,
you're gonna tell it first. You're
mhm,
gonna say, "Oh, tree, I'm so sorry,
mhm,
but you've got this disease, and the arborist says, that we need to cut you down, or you're a danger because your branches are falling, and I'm so sorry, and I'm going
mhm.
to let you know, and this is going to happen next Tuesday, so that you can be prepared,
Right.
and you can make the appropriate offerings, and speak to them,
Mhm.
and people will cut down a lot less trees if everyone had to do that.
Right, right.
It's
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah. Well, that sounds really, really hopeful process. Anything to get people more connected to nature, I'm definitely behind. So, yeah. And it's interesting that you know somebody who's doing that through OSU. I find that pretty
Hmm.
interesting. So, yeah.
Well, they're contemplative studies. They hold yoga classes and meditation groups and things like that.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
it's a nice little space they've got set up there over by the skate park on,
Hmm.
where Wild East Bakery is?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, it's right upstairs.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's
Yeah.
where they meet. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Well, I think our third person is going to show up here any minute. So maybe,
Oh, good.
yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started, introduce you and get your contact information. I usually run the contact information as a, script alongside when people are talking. So you should let me know what you want to say about how people can get in touch with you.
Okay. Well, is this live and recording now, or is this
Yeah.
part of the show, or you're gonna start when Adrian gets here?
Um, well, she texts me. Yeah, this is unusual for her not to be here already. So she said she's running late. So technically, we're live on her YouTube channel, so people should be able to watch what's happening right now.
Okay.
But I'll probably go in and snip off, the first part of everything, so it's not too confusing. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I just got my new web page up yesterday. My webmaster friend Matt got it set for me. So I
great.
do have a new website that people can see now. It's a little rough. I saw a few typos I need to correct in there.
Okay.
And my old website is still working, but we're going to cut it down to one page and say we have moved.
Uh huh.
So
Like a
it's not
big
a
fix.
redirect because that freaks people out.
Okay.
But yeah, it just says where I've moved to. So it's a
Okay.
whole different thing here.
Nice. So what's the address of your new site?
It's holistic
Hmm.
hyphen soul.com.
Okay. Cool. All right. How's that look?
Perfect.
Okay. Cool. All right. We will use that when the time comes. Um, so yeah. Well, I think maybe we'll just go ahead and get started. Then Adrian will, pick up when she picks up. But
Okay, sure.
so, dun, da, da, da. So, welcome to the Psychic Funhouse. I'm here with our guest, uh, our first guest on our new platform, showing video, and that would be Sky Yeager. Uh, Sky is an amazing shamanic practitioner. Uh, she's also become a forest therapist. We'll talk more about that. So that's pretty exciting. She has quite a lot of skills and talents up her sleeve, which I'm sure all our audience members are going to find very fascinating and interesting to get to know. So we're definitely thrilled to have her back on the show. She's been a regular on our other platform on Blog Talk, and we're excited to have her back. So, yay.
Mm. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for inviting me back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, you've been busy this year doing a lot of different things. You've done some travel abroad and you've
Hmm.
done some certification. We are just talking about learning some new skills to bring to people. And of course, your shamanic practice is going strong. So, what's exciting in your neck of the woods these days that you'd like to share with our audience members? What would you like them to know about you? What's a good intro?
Hmm. Well, I just want to let people know that, um, it might look like and it might feel like things are really tough right now and falling apart. Um, but thoughts and words are so powerful right now. And we need to be careful where we put our attention. And it's hi, hi
There she
Adrian.
is. Hey, Adrian.
Hi.
We're just
Sorry.
getting. That's all right. Glad you made it. We're just getting started. So, Sky is talking about what she feels is important for people to know at this time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so it is important where we put our focus because things can manifest so quickly right now.
Mm-hmm.
And w- I think it's really important to disconnect from the out there when it's drama,
Mm-hmm.
and to turn within and start working on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I had mentioned when we were chatting a little bit earlier that um, the first half of this year was kind of a going inside and quiet. I um, I didn't put out a newsletter. I didn't teach any workshops. I didn't see a whole lot of clients except for ones that were already my clients. It
Mm-hmm.
was just like I have got to focus in inner. It's all inner, inner, inner. I've got to do it. And it
Mm-hmm.
was interesting because a lot of other practitioners and um, visionary people that I know, intuitive folks, they were all the same way. They're like, oh, I don't feel like I can leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't left the house all week. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
I'm just meditating. I'm playing my
Mm-hmm.
crystal bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing my cards. I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And had to buy a new journal because I journaled the heck out of the old one and filled it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that in people that do reach out to me, and people that are struggling that I know. Um, it all comes back to what are you doing in where are you doing your inner work?
Mm-hmm.
And I think as intuitives and practitioners, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's up to us to help people do that work if
Mm-hmm.
they ask.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it's been really hard to kind of get myself out of that um, nice cocoon that I was in. But traveling helped because I had to go to a wedding
Mm-hmm.
in England in May. And so I was so stressful. I'm like, yay, I get to travel, but oh my God, I don't want to leave the house. And I don't want
Yeah.
to go through airports and all these things. But it was like, no, I got to do it.
Uh-huh.
Spirit was like nudging me. It's like, no, you're going. You knew you were going for years. You're going now. We got you. We got you.
Uh-huh.
And the other important part of doing that inner work is the trust that
Mm-hmm.
comes up between you and your team, you and God, Goddess, source of all that
Mm-hmm.
um, is a trust. It's like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to trust that the angels are watching over for me. Plane's going to be fine. Not going to miss any flights. Not going to lose
Mm-hmm.
my luggage. Not going to get
Mm-hmm.
mugged in the city. All these things that go through your mind, when you're trying to get these things organized.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a huge lesson. The angels were like, yeah, we got you. We got
Yeah.
you. Just trust.
Yeah.
And I was completely supported
Mm-hmm.
the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Just beautifully.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, I hear the
go ahead.
challenge. I was just going to say, I hear the challenge. Travel is so stressful, no matter how exciting the destination is. But especially if you're, trying to transition from a phase of being, uh, more introspective, like you're saying. So, yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, I did it. I did it. And luckily I didn't have to do it alone. My grown-up daughter was with me. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was amazing to spend time with her and to
Mm-hmm.
have us both explore those ancestral roots at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Have
So
you traveled abroad with her before? Or was that your first trip outside the U.S. or?
that was our first trip outside together.
Uh-huh.
The last
Mhm.
time I went to England, I was pregnant with her.
Oh,
So,
wow.
so we didn't communicate all that much.
Different level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, and there was some tending that I had to do there for the ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
And, before I even booked the plane tickets, the first thing I did was connect with the Deva
Mm-hmm.
of Ireland and the Deva of England
Mm-hmm.
and let them know, hey, I'm coming. I want to come. Do I
Mm-hmm.
have your blessing?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
this is why I'm coming. I'm not coming to cause trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
to do this. And I just got the most beautiful welcome from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, all right, when everything's going to be okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helped
And
me.
yeah, and I kept asking, what do I need to do? What do I need to do while I'm in Ireland? And one of the things that I really wanted to do, which I was so excited about, was visit Newgrange,
Mm-hmm.
which is a Paleolithic or a Neolithic site there, an old
Mm-hmm.
burial tomb that's 5,000 years old.
Wow.
And that's been on my list for a long time because I had a background in archaeology
Oh,
and
that's
all
right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept asking, why do I need to go there? And
Mm-hmm.
what about these other sites? It's like, we're going to Hilatara. Do I need to do anything there? They said no.
Mm-hmm.
So Newgrange, that's where
Mm-hmm.
I have to do something. Okay, so I'm like, we're on the bus going there. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And they just said,
Mm-hmm.
they just came in real strongly when I got there and said, we just need you to say a blessing
Mm-hmm.
for the ancestors on the land. We want you to put
Mm-hmm.
your hands down on the land
Mm-hmm.
and say a blessing. And then when you go into the tomb, activate your Merkaba.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, that's it. I
Mm-hmm.
can do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, um, so I did, and it was sometimes it's just the simple things. We don't have to make a big ritual and bring, candles and crystals and do chants and things like that. Sometimes it's just
Mm-hmm.
being there on the land and just putting your hands there and just saying,
Mm-hmm.
bless you, ancestors, for all you went through. And,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know,
Being present. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
witnessed that and thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You used a couple terms there that I think most of our audience will be familiar with, but it might be good just to linger over them a little bit, get your perspective on how you interpret them. And the first one was diva. You talk about
Hmm.
contacting the divas of both England and Ireland. So when you use that term, what does that mean to you? What are divas?
The devas are the overlighting spirits
Mm-hmm.
of that help things come into form.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have an overlighting deva of carrots, and
Mm-hmm.
they bring carrots into form, the blueprint, the energetic blueprint for carrots.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also have a deva of your garden and your
Mm-hmm.
yard, and
Mm-hmm.
anything that's pretty much created has a deva. There's a
Mm-hmm.
deva of the psychic funhouse. Have you
Mm-hmm.
contacted them yet?
No, but we should get them in gear.
Um, so they're most commonly thought of over places and plants and animals and things like that. And the term got real, really a lot of use and was brought out more into the mainstream by Fintorn. Are you
Mm-hmm.
familiar with Fintorn?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From
Eileen
Scotland.
Caddy and Dorothy McLean, they used to talk
Mm-hmm.
about the devas all the time, and they would channel the devas, the overlighting spirits, and
Mm-hmm.
talk about the deva of potatoes gave us
Mm-hmm.
this message.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, they had amazing gardens growing in basically sand,
Right.
thanks to the devas' help.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. That helps people, I think, understand what you're talking about. And then you mentioned something that I'm not familiar with, Merkaba. What's
The
Merkaba?
Merkaba,
Mm-hmm.
that is an element of your light body, your energy
Uh-huh.
body. The Merkaba is two um, uh, pyramids, three-sided
Mm-hmm.
pyramids,
Mm-hmm.
um, nested on top of one another. So two-dimensionally, it would look like a six-pointed star.
Mm-hmm.
Three-dimensionally, it's a three-sided pyramid on top of another three-sided pyramid to make that
Mm-hmm.
star. I wish
Mm-hmm.
I had my crystal with me. I would show you.
Mm-hmm.
But when we're doing our breathing and in a calm space and all of our chakras are aligned and balanced and we're connected to the above Father Sky and below deep down into Mother Earth, our Merkaba, our energy body becomes this Merkaba,
Uh-huh.
and it's light.
Mm-hmm.
It's light around us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it can spin kind of just like a giant chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And it can vary in size.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Is that something that you are able to perceive, or is it something you know is there? Is it a feeling that it transmits to you, or how do you understand it? Um,
I can feel it
mm-hmm.
when I'm calm and concentrating. I can feel my own,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and sometimes see it with my third eye, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I haven't had any luck seeing others.
Uh-huh.
So
Interesting. So, so did you go? Did you and your daughter go to Ireland first and then to England, or
yeah,
that was the itinerary?
yeah.
How much time did you spend in Ireland?
We spent 3 nights in
Mm-hmm.
Ireland and then 4 nights in England. England was where her cousin got married.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So
Yeah, that was nice of you to go
it was
travel all
nice.
that way to support. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, Claire, my niece Outlaw, is she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Uh-huh.
she's a delight. I've known her
Mm-hmm.
since she was 6 years old, and
Mm-hmm.
she's a wonderful person. And I was so happy she was getting married, and I was really excited to
Mm-hmm.
meet her partner,
Mm-hmm.
and then Alice got to see her grandparents that live over there too, as well as her aunties and her cousins. So
Oh wow, that's great.
it was a great family thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get a sense that the spiritual vibes or even devas were different in England versus Ireland, or was there similarity? Or
Yeah, it was different. The countries
hmm
have a different feel,
hmm
you know. But I mean, you find that here though too. Like, I mean, you can go from state to state, and you get a
hmm
totally different feeling as soon as you cross the state line, right? Have you ever
hmm
had that?
hmm yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
California versus
yeah,
Oregon, right? Yeah. hmm
right. Or even going up to Washington from Oregon and
hmm
back, totally
hmm
different.
hmm
So,
Yeah. Yep. 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 Interesting. Yeah. Uh. Okay. Well. So let's talk about your shamanic practice, and your your journey with that. When did you first become a shamanic practitioner? How long has it been since you've been practicing?
oh, it's been almost 20 years now,
Mm-hmm.
that I was actually knew what I was practicing.
Uh-huh.
You know, I had those leanings into intuitive metaphysical things pretty much all my life, and always was the person who was going over to talk to the trees instead of people.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but yeah, when I started with energy medicine with a teacher in Bisbee, Arizona, and worked with her for 3 or 4 years. But a lot of the practices that we were doing were shamanic practices like journeying. But she didn't call it that. And I didn't realize that's what we were doing until I started working with another teacher who was a shamanic teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, this journey. I'm like, oh, I've done this before. I met that guy before.
Mm-hmm.
It was just in a meditation instead of a
Mm-hmm.
journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
How are you drawn to that particular style of spiritual work, or was it something that just, you kind of zoned into in a natural way, or do you remember?
well, they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Sure.
Yeah. And so I was at my Uranian opposition then. I was just
Mm-hmm.
around 40 years old
Mm-hmm.
and had just gotten back on my feet again after a divorce with a very small child who was 5 years old
Mm-hmm.
at the time. And um, Spirit, as soon as the divorce pretty much happened, I was given a power song.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it for what it was. I knew it was a power song, and it ran through my head all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And I never forgot it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was a power song, but I didn't know what to do with it. And then, I'm finding a job, I'm taking my kid to daycare, I'm navigating co-parenting with my ex and,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
under a lot of stress. And
Yeah.
but then right when I hit 40, Spirit's like, okay, now's the time. Here, we're gonna have you meet this teacher from
Mm-hmm.
Bisbee.
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and she came in, and I was working at the community college then in the non-credit department, and
Mm-hmm.
she walked in and she says, I want to teach a class for you in energy medicine. And I'm like, well, what is that? Does it use electricity? I mean, I had no clue.
Uh, that's
No
funny.
clue whatsoever. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it works with your energy bodies and chakras. And I don't know what those were.
Mm-hmm.
But then she like put her hand out and she started moving through my energy field. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, she asked permission first. And she's like,
Yeah.
hmm, your kidneys are very stressed. Are, are you going through a lot of stress right now? And I'm like, I got a 5-year-old and I'm a single mom. Yeah.
That's what I do every day.
So
Stress. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was so interesting. I thought, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing this. Yeah.
Got your
Yes, you're
attention.
gonna you're gonna teach a class for me or
Mm-hmm.
for our department, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that started my whole journey. After that, I found my first shamanic teacher, Lone Dove, in
Mm-hmm.
Tucson. I got my Reiki level 1. Um, I worked with Sandra Ingerman online.
Mm-hmm.
And just, everything just became that my journey. That was
Mm-hmm.
all about. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
raising my daughter
Mm-hmm.
and navigating that. But everything else
Mm-hmm.
was like my intuitive journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Does your daughter practice shamanism? Is that something that she's taken to? No. Mm-hmm.
no, but she'll call me when she needs spiritual help.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll
Mom,
call
what's
me.
going on? Yeah.
She's like, Mom, I need a clearing. I can't
Mm-hmm.
clear this. Can you clear me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, But I'll tell you one little story that she probably won't mind. I made her a black tourmaline bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got a very demanding job, and she works um, with a lot of the public that are not in a good place,
Mm-hmm.
because she helps people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made her a black tourmaline bracelet, and I said, this is going to help you, kind of with your boundaries, keeping yourself clear while all your clients are having their dramas around you. It'll help keep you grounded, help keep you fine. Just, at night, clear it, put it by your bed, clear it, and then wear it the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And she called me up um, one day and she says, Mom, I went to this estate sale and they had all this really old art and these artifacts and things, and I was going over to this cabinet where they had all of this old Chinese jewelry, and all of a sudden my bracelet started burning on my wrist, and I stopped and I just walked away. I was I was so happy. I was like,
Uh-huh.
nice way to listen.
Warning
Nice
you
way to
on.
get the message. Nice way to listen. Good
Uh-huh.
job.
Uh-huh. Something
Yeah.
was in that jewelry that wasn't good. Yeah.
Yeah, she felt it. She's
Uh-huh.
very intuitive.
Uh-huh.
She's she's naturally intuitive. So she's a
Uh-huh.
medium, but
Uh-huh.
she's got that shut down now because of the kind of work that she does. Plus,
Hmm.
when you're in your 20s, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Your friends
Yeah.
think you're weird.
Yeah. Unless they're weird themselves, I guess. So tell us about your shamanic practice. So what do you think people would like to know about that haven't uh, hooked up with you already, either through classes or your healing work that you do and everything on that level? And somebody told me
Well,
you're writing a book. Is that also happening too?
uh, yeah, not very far into it though.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's
It's a work in
time is,
progress.
yeah, it is. I'm
Hmm.
working full time still in my day job and
Hmm.
trying to do some of these things, on the side, see clients occasionally, teach
Hmm.
workshops occasionally, and
Hmm.
run community circles, ceremonies, and things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. Yeah.
what I would tell people is that what I do is I help people become empowered.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna just let you sit there and do a whole bunch of stuff for you and say, okay, $100, please. Why don't you come back in 2 weeks for another $100 and we'll take care of this drama and that drama.
Hmm.
That is not, that is just so much work. No, you need to learn how to do these things yourself.
Hmm.
So, so for me, that's what I call empowerment.
Hmm.
I will, I'll have the person come in, we'll talk. I will intuit who's around them, who's a guide for
Hmm.
them. I'll take them on a journey for
Hmm.
them to meet a helping spirit, someone that they know that they can trust.
Hmm.
And once they have that, I say that's the first member of your team. There are
Hmm.
more team you've got a big team. You've got a team as big as you need.
Hmm.
But let's start with this one being who's come to you here. Now you need to get to know this being.
Hmm.
So you need to connect with them on a regular basis. You need to find some time every day to sit in stillness
Hmm.
or walk in stillness if you're lucky enough to live, by a forest or a meadow or lake or hiking path. Going out in nature is just as good.
Hmm.
But you've got to make it a priority to connect with yourself.
Hmm.
And then you've also got to make it a priority to set your boundaries.
Hmm.
And and making time for yourself is a boundary as well.
Hmm.
But
Absolutely.
what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? If you had this wonderful team of amazing beings, which you do,
Hmm.
what would you want to do with
Hmm. Hmm.
them? How how is that going to enhance your calling, your purpose for being incarnated here at this time?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
So when you go over that with people, how do they respond? What's their process like once they're made aware of all the helping spirits they have and the potential they have to
yeah.
empower themselves and
Oh, they love it.
uh-huh.
I mean, they love it. They are so excited to meet their helping spirits and their team.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what it does is it turns their perspective inside out
Hmm.
as like, okay, like the tree outside my house, that's a helping spirit for me. But it's a tree. I'm like, yeah, but it's a helping spirit for you too.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so it's like, okay, everything, it kind of gets them into animism with little baby steps,
Hmm. Hmm.
knowing that there is spirit in everything and
Right.
that their thoughts are very important and that
Hmm.
they can step up and do that inner work to manifest what they want in their lives
Hmm.
if they so choose.
Hmm. Hmm.
And of course sometimes people are stuck and or they're dealing with something pretty heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And, that I'll help with that, obviously. I
Mm-hmm.
will um, find out what is needed for the
Mm-hmm.
remedy for that, and either do a clearing or soul retrieval or power retrieval, bringing back something that was lost to them in other lives, little fragments that due to traumas that we've had, not
Mm-hmm.
only in this incarnation, but many incarnations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We sometimes leave little fragments of ourselves behind. Those
Mm-hmm.
all need to be gathered together.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time for humanity to get its fragments together so
Mm-hmm.
that we have the power and the strength and the wholeness to evolve into this new paradigm that's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
knocking on our door here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so we'll do Reiki. Sometimes people just need Reiki and energy work to clear out a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of uh, gunk that they've been
Mm-hmm.
carrying around with them,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes room for the new to come in, and it clears their energy. It gives them that kind of shines up their third eye and their intuitive gifts, because
Uh-huh.
everyone is intuitive.
Sure. So you mentioned Reiki. So you're also a Reiki practitioner. Explain to our viewers what that is and what that's about. What's Reiki?
Um, Reiki is a form of energy healing, energy
Mm-hmm.
work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very old. It was brought over from Japan in
Mm-hmm.
the early 1940s ish, 40s, 50s,
Mm-hmm.
um, by Mrs. Takata, the founder of Western Reiki, who then taught other people Reiki, who taught other people Reiki, and it has
Mm-hmm.
blossomed over these past 70 years now,
Mm-hmm.
into one of the most common um, forms of energy work.
Mm-hmm.
Nurses and hospitals are trained in Reiki now. It's a
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
people can talk about it, and um, and it's a really uh, beautiful form of energy work that anyone can do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it
Is,
feels really good to get Reiki.
is it something that has to be done in person, or can you send Reiki to somebody who's far away, or how does that work?
Yeah, it works both ways
Uh-huh.
because it's energy. Energy can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I teach people how to do that. I do teach Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
and I teach the Usui Reiki that was traditionally from Japan that was brought over to the West by Mrs.
Mm-hmm.
Takata.
Mm-hmm.
And I also teach Marielle Reiki,
Mm-hmm.
which was brought in the 1980s by Ethel Lombardi, who was a student of Mrs. Takata's, one of her 22 Reiki masters. And
Mm-hmm.
Ethel was doing Usui Reiki, and then she had a vision where these monks came in and gave her these symbols and connected her with the energy of the divine goddess, with Mary, and with
Mm-hmm.
the Elohim, kind of the
Mm-hmm.
architects of the universe of
Mm-hmm.
God.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave her the symbols, and she started teaching Marielle um, exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was lucky enough to have that come into my life, and that
Mm-hmm.
really resonated with me. And
Mm-hmm.
um, so on my website, my new website, holistic-soul.com, I have a whole
Mm-hmm.
page now dedicated to Marielle Reiki.
Oh, okay. Great.
And it's got the sourcing of Marielle. It's got a little channeling on there from Mary,
Mm-hmm.
and how people can work with it. And
Mm-hmm.
the manual, the instruction manual with the symbols, is free and open for download with a link on that page.
Oh, great.
Because the Marielles, Mary, Isis, White Buffalo Woman, Green Tara, um, they, and Ethel herself, they want this to get out to as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone can download the manual.
Mhm.
and work with it. However, to really get connected and get that supercharge of energy and power flowing
Mhm.
from the Mariels, it really helps to have an attunement.
Mhm.
And so I can do a distance attunement, and we
Mhm.
do this all on Zoom
Mhm.
because usually the people are coming from all over the place, all over the
Mhm.
country.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so we'll do practice, we'll do an attunement, we'll do a meditation where people meet their Mariel mentor.
Mhm.
And then I have some extra things to share with people after the class, some extra notes from Ethel and things like
Mhm.
that that are not open and freeware um,
Mhm.
out of respect for Ethel. So
Sure. When people come to you to get Reiki work done, what's a typical reason why they do that, and what's a session like? Could you describe that process?
sure. The reasons can be many. Lots of times it's something physical, like
Mhm.
they're having a physical issue, like
Mhm.
a nerve issue, autoimmune, or a torn rotator cuff in their shoulder,
Mhm.
things like that. But it can also be spiritual too. It can be for depression,
Mhm.
for grief, for feeling stuck,
Mhm.
for anxiety.
Mhm.
All those things can be helped with Reiki, with the
Mhm.
session of Reiki.
Mhm. So it helps physically as well as mentally and emotionally, and
Yeah, it
mm,
helps on all levels, all
mhm.
levels.
Do people
And
just need, like, one session with you, or it just depends on what's going on with them maybe, or
yeah, it just depends. It just
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and I've got some clients that, will come to me, 2 or 3 times a year,
Mhm.
and they'll say, okay, this time I need a shamanic session because I have this question and I think it needs to be, um, gotten some insight from shamanically.
Mhm.
Or they'll say, I just need Reiki. Things aren't
Mhm.
working right.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
feel good. I,
Mhm.
you know, so usually we get a little of both because
Mhm.
when I'm doing Reiki, I'm still getting messages intuitively.
Mhm.
And so lots of times it just comes together. I'll get
Sure.
messages during the Reiki session.
Yeah. Do people find that, when you do your healing work, either, the blend, I guess, of shamanic and Reiki, or one or the other, that, there's, changes that happen during the session, or is it something that they, kind of become aware of gradually afterwards, or what's their process of healing like? Do they
It,
do they just
it
need one
varies.
session and that's it? Yeah. Mhm.
It varies greatly. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. Usually right after the session, they will notice a lightness because a lot
Mhm.
of gunk gets cleared out, that
Mhm.
was clogging up their energy body and their chakras. And
Mhm.
that all gets removed with a Reiki session. And so
Mhm.
they'll feel lighter and they'll feel their energy moving maybe where they couldn't before.
Mhm.
But then it does have a ripple on effect.
Mhm.
And sometimes I'll get a message, that says, oh, they say, I got a message from your team and they said that this is going to unfold gradually over the next 4 weeks
Mhm. Mhm.
or
So
something
just
like
be
that.
prepared. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so it really varies.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Um, do you have any memorable clients or sessions that come to mind that, you could share without revealing too much, that, give us some insight into the the work that you do, or what people could expect if they got a session from you?
Well, good question.
Mhm.
Well, in doing this work for as many years as I have, what I have learned is always trust what I get.
Mhm.
I have to get myself out of the way. In shamanic terms, it's called being the hollow bone,
Mhm. Mhm.
where you're kind of out of the way and you just let the information or the energy flow through you without
Mhm.
you trying to control it.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I think that should go there, or oh, I
Mhm.
think it should be this. And you just
Mhm.
let it happen and
Mhm.
trust what you get.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really odd, and
Mhm.
you know, one time I was at the Rasani Fair, and I
Mhm.
had a booth there, and I did a session for somebody who was a psychic medium from Portland. He's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I never had a shamanic reading before. Let's do one. Let's do a trade." And
Mhm.
um, so I got this power animal for him, and I never got this power animal before, and it was a little weird, and so I was a little hesitant, but Spirit's like, "Just tell him." It's
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
"Okay." I was like, "Okay, so Manny, your spirit animal is a bat." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, that makes so much sense." And he was telling me, why that made sense. I'm like,
Mhm.
"Okay, good." Because you never know how people are going to take that.
Right.
And then another time, I was doing a session for a woman for a specific issue, and I
Mhm.
didn't know anything about her. She had just found me online, contacted me. We had a chat by phone, and she came over for the session. And
Mhm.
in the session, when I connect with someone shamanically, usually either their higher self or their power animal comes
Mhm.
in pretty quickly and says, "This is what we need to do." Because basically, I'm just the person holding space, the facilitator. The person's spirits and higher self is completely in control of what happens.
Mhm.
So I'm just there waiting. They're like, "We need to do this. We need to do this." And okay, so I'm waiting for their team to come fully in, and this white dog comes in, this big white dog.
Mhm.
And usually, we meet wild creatures like wolves and things like that. And I'm like, "Are you a wolf?" And he's like, "No, I'm a dog." I was
Mhm.
like, "Maybe I'm just making that up. Are you sure you're not a wolf?" It's like, just go with it. "I'm a dog. Here, we
Mhm.
need to go
Mhm.
here. We need to clear this person's contract, and we need to pick up this soul part. Let's go do it."
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm like, "Okay, I'm
Mhm.
following you. Let's go do
Mhm.
it. You
Mhm.
take me where we need to go."
Yeah.
So we did all that work. We came back, and then, I'm coming back from the journey, and I'm starting to tell the lady, what happened. I said, "Well, the first thing that happened was this big white dog came. It's not a wolf or a panther or a bear or anything like that." And she's like,
Mm.
"Oh yeah, that's my guide."
Hmm. Mhm. She knew right away.
She knew, yeah. She's like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
know him."
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's like you never, because like, well, maybe I should tell her it's a wolf. At
Mhm.
first,
Mhm.
when I first met it, it's like, well, maybe
Yeah.
it looks like a dog, but really it's a wolf.
Mhm.
But, um, I have, I had already learned by that time to go, just, don't question it, just trust what I get
Right.
and don't make stuff up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, so those are the little things that happen with people. And, not only does it help me trust what I'm getting as a practitioner, but it helps the people too,
Mhm.
because it resonates with them, you know? And they're like, "Yeah, see, I knew that. My guide's still with me. My dog guide's still with me. He's going to be with me forever."
Mhm.
You know, it,
Yeah.
it, it helps them trust their own intuition.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think
I
that's really
remember.
important.
Yeah, I agree. I remember, one of my teachers had a student, and they ended up with a cartoon version of a power animal, and when that came out, the person and the other people, because I think it was done in a group, were kind of bemused by the whole concept of your power animal is really a cartoon character, uh, but it ended up being really appropriate for them because this person was in a pretty demanding profession that dealt with life or death on a regular basis, and so having kind of a lighter being literally that they could turn to just take the edge off of things, I think was really, the perspective that they needed. So, it's interesting who and what shows up, for us
That's
for sure.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a student one time, and the power animal I brought back for her was a hammerhead shark, which I hadn't worked with before. And, from the outside, this particular person is, just the most mild, you know, very unobtrusive person, you wouldn't really take notice of on the street. And then, their inner life, they had this really intense paranoia, but they loved it. They really took to it. And that was, I think they started calling it Sharky or something like that. So, it's
Oh, that's great.
just interesting what spirit brings, to people. It's invariably exactly what they need, even if at the time it feels like, wow, this is going to be a bit of an adjustment, or is this really appropriate? Or like where you were talking about, no, this has got to be a wolf. It can't be a dog. You got to be a wolf. Everybody wants like a bear or an eagle or something. And sometimes even the meekest, creatures or spirits can have really, really significant, vital even messages to help people with. So, um, all the relations, everybody's got to be included and valued. So that's great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, Adrian, you're pretty quiet over there. Do you have any comments or questions for Sky? Anything coming up for you, or anything to share, or
Oh
include you in
gosh.
the conversation?
First of all, I apologize again for being late. I'm
That's okay.
a week a week living out of this hotel. And it's been really hard in so many ways and draining.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyhow, I do apologize. And so
We're just
Sky,
glad you made it. That's all right.
yeah, thank you. Um, I've had two big German shepherds here in a hotel room, so it's oh goodness. Anyhow, Sky, it was nice to see you, and I appreciated your sharing, and it was good to hear from you. So
Mhm,
thank you,
mhm, mhm,
It's good to see you again. I hope
thank
you don't
you.
have to stay in the hotel very much longer.
A week, another week. So
mhm,
that's all right. We'll get through it.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, making transitions smooth, I think that's a good place to invite your guides in to help, with getting through all that, and just being able to, chart a course that's going to get you from point A to point B without too much stress and trouble. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure you're being taken care of on that level.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Still
Absolutely.
doesn't make it totally easier, but at least it's not sufficient.
No, but I'm grateful. Things could have been a lot different. So the
Hmm.
fact that I'm here is a blessing. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah. So you asked also if I had anything coming up. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, this tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I'm doing a holistic fair
Hmm.
in Laguna Woods. It's the
Hmm.
OC. That's it.
Hmm.
Laguna Woods Heart Space. Oh, Healing Center. Yes, and it's from tomorrow. It's from 11 a.m. until 5
Hmm.
p.m. I'll be there doing readings, and I'm out actually speaking as well. I
Oh,
was
okay.
just notified on that, but I'll be talking on mediumship.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and so there's a wide variety of different practitioners, different price points, and free stuff as well. So
Hmm.
if anybody's in the area, that'd be wonderful. If you
Hmm.
want to come by.
I think you also mentioned that even if people aren't local, that they can connect via Zoom from
Yeah.
the heart space, so
Mm-hmm.
they can participate that way, which is a great
Yeah.
option.
Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. Well, as long as we're talking about things in that nature, maybe you should share your contact information with people so they know how to get in touch with you, Adrian.
Yeah. So I see people in person on Zoom and telephone calls. Probably the best way to know more about my services and fees is to check out my website, which is ravenmessages.com.
Hmm.
And I'll also be happy to take a phone call, or you can text me at area code 714-376-7289.
Nice. Okay. And you do mediumship? Is there other spiritual work that you offer as well, or?
Yeah, I read oracle cards and just energy balancing and clear. Oh yeah, that reminds me. I had a lady call me last night about doing a energetic clearing of um, of a business dwelling place. So hopefully I'll be doing that soon. So I do that as well,
Okay.
and
Clearings are always good. Yep.
yeah. So kind of a few different things that I do.
Yeah, you do psychic work,
Mhm.
and don't you have some jewelry also that's generally
Yeah,
clearings?
yeah, yeah, I do. Some
Yeah.
very, very nice pieces. This is
Hmm.
one of them. And the jewelry necklaces are a nice high grade gemstones,
Hmm.
various gemstones, various prices. And that can be they can be seen on the Raven, so Raven Messages jewelry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for mentioning that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to make sure everybody knows all the different aspects of what you offer because it's pretty amazing. So, yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess I should share my contact info.
Yeah.
So, uh, my website's givingtreefarm.com. I offer shamanic work and tarot readings, psychic work. I'm also a certified clinical herbalist, and I have classes that I offer and products. I do consultations for people, teach classes, all that sort of thing. And you can also contact me through text or phone at 541 344 7534. My email is givingtree@earthlink.net, and my Facebook page is Giving Tree Farm Herb Company. So lots of different options there. And Sky, why don't you tell people again about what you do and how to contact you since we're going around making the rounds. So.
Yeah, they you can reach me through the contact me button at holistic-soul.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any workshops coming up, but if you are in the Western Oregon area, uh, I do facilitate a monthly shamanic healing circle,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been going strong for 8 years. Lawrence and I started that together,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept it rolling because
Mm-hmm.
everyone loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great way to keep in touch with the community around you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So
Uh,
that might be a good thing to mention. So what's a healing circle? What's a shamanic healing circle? What happens there, and how do you facilitate that? What do you do? What goes on?
uh, well, we create a circle, which is
Mm-hmm.
why it's called a circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then we create sacred space within that. And
Mm-hmm.
then people can request request healing energy, which
Mm-hmm.
can be done through whatever modalities the people in the circle have. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
people are shamanic practitioners, and so they'll do shamanic journeys. quite a few of us are Reiki masters and practitioners as well. So
Mm-hmm.
lots of times it will include Reiki. There's always crystals going around the circle, and you might wind up sitting in the circle receiving energy work with crystals in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And, uh, it's the same people come over and over again because people really love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to always have it for yourself. People will sit in proxy for one another, for
Mm-hmm.
family members or friends who have given them permission to do that.
Sure.
And they will sit in the circle and they will describe what the person is going through. And then everything that happens in the circle is for that person. It just goes through the person holding the space for them, which is
Mm-hmm.
really lovely. It's kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
form of energy work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And at the end, we always send prayers and blessings out to all the beings
Mm-hmm.
and Gaia.
Mm-hmm. Now you mentioned at the start that you do kind of a clearing and create sacred space. It might be interesting to our audience to know, walk us through what that entails, since it's kind of pretty critical to make sure everybody uh, gets put in a safe space to do this kind of work, because people can be really vulnerable. I've seen some pretty amazing, incredible healings take place in circles where people feel like they can unburden themselves and really open up and receive some really deep, profound healing. So what do you do to make that happen? Because it doesn't just show up, right? You have to create it.
Well, we create the space. And so we do that by, at the beginning, before we do anything else, we'll have energy clearing with a smudge, either with sage or Palo Santo smoke.
Hmm.
And sometimes that's not appropriate if we're inside or if there are people who have respiratory issues. And in
Hmm.
that case, we have spray,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
sage spray or Palo Santo spray that does
Hmm.
the same kind of thing and
Hmm.
clears the energy field of anything that people might have, kind of stepped on their way to the circle or stepped in.
It's like a
It
reset.
also, yeah,
Hmm.
it clears their head, clears the energy.
Hmm.
And then we will call in the directions for the quarters, um, the four directions, the
Hmm.
keepers of the directions, the animal keepers, and the elementals is the tradition that I use. It's a druid tradition to
Hmm.
call in. Other people use um, their tradition, what they were taught with.
Hmm.
We have quite a few Peruvian um, based shamanic practice folks
Hmm.
who do it that way, and
Hmm.
but it's all good. It brings in the energies and sets the boundary to create that sacred space,
Hmm.
so that only the energies that are for the highest and best good of all parties involved in the circle are
Hmm.
welcomed in,
Hmm. Hmm.
and everything else has to stay on the outside.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so maybe, you mentioned that people can receive healing there directly. They can also act as, like a proxy healer for somebody that can't be present but wants to receive something. What's a typical healing like? Do people have to do anything in particular to have the healing work done, or do people volunteer, or is it?
Um, People just have to set the intention
Hmm.
for what they want, and we ask them to state it if they feel comfortable
Hmm.
stating it. We'll put them in the middle of the circle. We'll put a chair in the middle of the circle while
Hmm.
we're all sitting in circle around them.
Hmm.
And if they state their intention, that helps to focus the energy,
Hmm.
theirs as well as spirits.
Hmm.
But even if they don't say anything,
Hmm.
it's still going to go where it's needed.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then people will drum or rattle or play bells or bowls. People will ask if they have a hands-on healing modality. They'll ask the person if it's okay for them to touch them.
Mm-hmm.
and put their hands on their shoulders or wherever they are feeling called to do
Mm-hmm.
that. And then it goes for 10 or 15 minutes and just kind of organically comes to a halt when everything is done.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
no there's no orchestrating it. It just all unfolds organically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then messages are relayed,
Mm-hmm.
whatever messages people got are
Mm-hmm.
relayed to the people, unless you were told that it's for their ears only.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just get with them after the circle. I always remind people, especially the new people when they come in, that it is a safe and sacred space, and like
Mm-hmm.
any sacred space, there is a confidentiality privilege where what happens in the circle stays in the circle.
Sure. Sure. That's important.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and also sometimes we have to remind people that we are not medical professionals, nor do we claim to be.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
just here for supporting you.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and the energy is so sweet and strong when it comes in that, people who came with the intention of wanting to sit in the circle and have that directed towards themselves for what they have going on, they'll find after, going through the circle that they don't need to sit in the circle. They got what they needed
Mm-hmm.
by just being there,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it just ripples out.
Yeah. Participating itself is a healing act. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
And witnessing. Yeah. Yeah. I
Hmm.
find witnessing too, hearing other people's challenges and trials and tribulations and just airing that can be a really powerful process to be a part of for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then one other thing that's coming up for me is in 3 weeks, I will be in Quilcene, Washington, which is just a half an hour south of Port Townsend,
Hmm.
for the 25th Annual Fairy and Human Relations Congress.
Oh, okay.
I'll be
Nice.
traveling. Yeah, I'll be traveling up there,
Hmm.
and it's going to be an amazing get together. They are
Hmm.
having, they've invited the Spanglers, David Spangler and his
Hmm.
wife
Hmm.
and daughter are coming. David Spangler is a prolific writer and spiritualist, a medium who has written amazing books on spiritual incarnation and the she,
Hmm.
which are um, kind of our spiritual cousins at a
Hmm.
much higher level. Not to be confused with fairies. They're a little bit different, but
Hmm.
along the same, they share the same realms, let's
Hmm.
say.
Hmm.
They're very high vibration.
Hmm.
And he's written a lot of amazing books, and they have classes and things that they offer through their press, the Lorien Press.
Hmm.
And they live in Seattle, so they don't have to
Okay.
come very far. And
Hmm.
so I'm really looking forward to meeting them.
Hmm.
And there's going to be an Indigenous track. We've invited quite a few Indigenous elders that are going to
Hmm.
become and doing workshops and storytelling and songs. And yeah, it's always amazing. It's an amazing container, and amazing things always happen there. And it's a wonderful way to deepen your relationship with nature spirits, with the fae, with the elementals, and others like dragons, Sasquatch, unicorns, star beings. It's not limited to the fairy realms, but there are all kinds of beings that uh, feel this gathering and know that, okay, these people are with it. These people are on the right wavelength. I can come in and give them the message that I need to give them,
Hmm. Hmm.
because we need to work together to help turn things around here on planet Earth.
Yeah, no kidding. So
Yeah.
what's the dates for that happening? It's like a Friday through Sunday kind of thing, or
Yeah, July 16th
Uh-huh.
I believe is the first day. That's Thursday. There's going to be an immersion on Thursday, and with a half a day workshop
Mm-hmm.
with Amba Aliani,
Mm-hmm.
who is an amazing medium and uh, intuitive uh, singer. She does light language, and she's going to be
Mm-hmm.
doing a cacao ceremony on Thursday for the immersion. And then
Oh.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be the workshops, and there's always rituals and Saturday night ceremonies,
Mm-hmm.
group ceremonies, circles, singing.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be some dancing, I'm sure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and with the other beings,
Mm-hmm.
dancing with human and human, but also human and fae and human and
Mm-hmm.
other beings. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's always been an amazing experience for me taking part in those. So
Mm-hmm. And where did you say it was? It's near Port Townsend. What's the town that's in?
Quilcene,
Mm-hmm.
Quilcene, yeah, it's a very tiny little place that has a retreat center
Uh-huh.
that we will be at. I've
Okay.
never been there before, so I'll be
Okay.
using Google Maps to get there.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to put it up. Hopefully, I spelled Quilcene right. That's not a town I'm familiar with, but
Yeah, the website is fairycongress.com.
okay. All right. Very good.
Yeah, and it's amazing to camp out there and be in that container. You know, you're really immersed in with the nature spirits and the fae beings, and it's really powerful. I've always had some really powerful experiences there. Um, yeah, and I know that you've participated in that as well, Lawrence. So.
How many people usually attend?
They expect around 200,
Mhm,
but it's a big area with a big meadow, and
mhm,
so it's there's lots of room to be spread out.
mhm. And is it once a year or once every couple years?
It's once a year for the in-person event.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then in January, we do an online version, and it's called the Gaian Congress. And we do it all on Zoom over a weekend. And that way we can have people come from anywhere in the world.
Hmm.
Um, and and it's fantastic because we can do ceremony and ritual just as easily on Zoom as we can in person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And especially for those people that aren't up to camping. You know, it's a lot for some people to, get that together and camp, and
Yeah,
no, I don't mind
yeah,
it so much, but
yeah. There was a time that I used to do camping, but not so much anymore. Yeah. But how wonderful to be able to be outdoors and be under the stars and around uh, like-minded, kindred souls. Hmm.
yeah, that's a huge part of it. Is
Hmm.
connecting with everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I'm
very
excited
good.
for that.
Yeah. Now, where do you live now?
I live in Corvallis, Oregon,
Okay.
Western Oregon.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're the same place, same town Lawrence lives in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've been to Port Townsend before, and I thought that whole area up in there was just beautiful, just wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to get a chance to explore a little bit more. I haven't been as far up as Port Townsend, but but I'm looking forward to that adventure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, yeah. How cool! And what a great thing to share with people that you like. And are you taking anybody with you? Is your daughter going with you?
no, I'm going with a friend of mine. Gail, who actually lives in North Carolina in Asheville, but she has a place here. She and her husband have a place in Corvallis where they come and visit every about 3 times a year. And she and I have been going to the Congress together for the past 4 years. It's just, you know, kind of like this thing we love to do, because it's great for our inner child because you bring all of your fairy garb. You can bring wings and your tiara and your little ears and because there's always a procession on Saturday night and you can just be yourself, I mean, I love dressing up in my fairy garb and
Oh, I
so
love
does
that.
everybody else that comes. So we decided that we could do a lot of things, but nothing really nurtures our inner child and that part of us that needs nature, like the Fairy Congress.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah. Um, I especially was appreciative of you mentioning the fact how we really all need to work together, work closely with one another to try to, flip things. I don't know if I want to use the word flip, but at least bring some healing, some healing to our environment, our society, our cities, our towns, some of our relationships, um, and because we are really so much out of balance right now, and I appreciate you acknowledging that and bringing that forward.
Well, every single one of us who agreed to incarnate on Earth at this time, it is our job to birth the new.
Yeah,
And, you know, some of us will do it by actually birthing new things, and some of us will do it by destroying the old things
right.
or self-destructing them or driving them into the ground or whatever. Every single person on Earth has got their purpose, their
Mhm.
soul's purpose. And we have no idea what anybody else's is. We just need to try and figure out what ours is and go with it.
Yeah, yeah. So true.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
true. Yeah,
We're all
very,
learning a lot of lessons right now.
yeah, it's true. Very
Let's hope
true.
so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hi, Lawrence, you made it back.
Woohoo!
Did make it back. Yep. I
Yeah.
went to the outer world for a minute. Little technical difficulty. So, but yeah. Yeah. Did I miss anything?
No, we're just chit chatting. I had a couple questions about the gathering, and Sky answered that, and
Mhm.
um, yeah, just chatting. I was remarking that over the sentiment of uh, helpers and healers and people coming together to help one another, to help our communities during these very, very challenging times. And I was just acknowledging the fact that I was appreciative of her, you know, talking about that, bringing that forward.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, well, everybody's got their part to play, right? Some people are going to resist that and try to keep us from moving forward or drag us back even, and other
Yeah,
people are here to show us the way forward. So, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why trust
exactly.
is so important now more than ever.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
I keep being
exactly.
reminded lately of something my very first teacher in energy medicine uh, taught us in a meditation. The more I surrender, the more I am supported.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes we just have to let go of what we're clinging on to and just let it go and let
Mm-hmm.
spirit take over, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
True enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that can be really difficult when there's not a lot of trustworthy things happening out there. Which is why it's
Again, it's not outward trust, it's inward trust.
hmm hmm yeah, no, I agree. I also think we're affected by outer things, and that can influence the choices that we make. But yeah, definitely need to work on that part of it.
Mm.
One thing to mention, which is Funhouse is here for entertainment purposes only. We're here to educate and inform, and if you have need for legal, financial, uh, or other kinds of professional advice, we definitely encourage you to seek out professionals for that. So, just to get that out of the way. So, yeah.
Well, I hope we were entertaining them.
Well, I want to share this. I
I think
was
so.
talking to a friend, talking to a listener on our show, and
Mm-hmm.
she was talking about. She told me how much she appreciated the format, appreciated the content. She found it to be genuine and thought provoking and real. And she just wanted to tell me how much she appreciated it and enjoyed it. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much." I said, "That's just wonderful to hear." And I said, "I'll let Lawrence know too." So there you go.
Great. Yeah. It's wonderful to get feedback like that. It helps us know that we're on track with everything we're trying to accomplish here on the show. So, it's it's good that we're making content. So that's the whole idea. That's why we're here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for all that you do, for having this forum and this space,
Yeah.
and for
Well, I
keeping it
just
real.
appreciate you being on the show again, and uh, you know taking time out of your schedule, to share with us and to let people know more about who you are and what you do, and also how to reach you.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure. I'll come on anytime you ask.
Good.
I love sitting around with you and in this space, so
It's great.
chatting.
Yeah, that is great. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show. So, anything else worth mentioning, Sky, that we haven't covered already, or that you want our audience members to know, or something that comes to mind? Or
Just take good care of yourselves out there. Make the time for yourself. Take care of yourself.
hmm
Go sit in stillness at least 15 minutes a day without your phone or anything else. Drink a lot of good, clean water.
hmm
Go outside and do what you can to walk your talk. When things feel crunchy out there, because they're
hmm
gonna,
hmm
and you feel triggered, take that moment and pause and
hmm
try and come from your heart. I mean,
hmm
if we could all do that, so much better and quicker we would get through this birthing pains of the new earth coming in.
hmm hmm Yeah, good
Do your
advice.
best.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Very good. Well, this has been just a wonderful show having you back on again, Sky. We're so excited you came on, and it was such a fun conversation. So many different places we got to explore together. So we're really thrilled for that. So thank you again for coming on. So yeah. So share your contact info with people. Let's get that out there again so people know how to reach you.
Yeah, holistic-soul.com. There's a
Mm-hmm.
contact me button on there somewhere.
Uh-huh. All you have to do, go there and be found. And then you're going to also be taking part in the Fairy Congress that's happening up in Washington. So that's in July. So
Yeah,
you can
fairycongress.com.
mm-hmm,
You can
mm-hmm,
find out all about it and all the
mm-hmm.
wonderful guests and speakers and folks that'll be there.
Nice. And what are you going to be talking about?
I'm actually not going to be teaching a workshop there this year. My team said no. I'm only going to be helping with the ceremonies and rituals.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you get to really participate.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. All right. Well, that's exciting. Very cool. Adrian, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, my friend, take advantage of your services?
Yeah, check my website out at ravenmessages.com. It's a lot of information there regarding my services and fees, contact information. But you know what? I'm happy to take a phone call, or you can text me at area code 714-376-7289.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, you're also going to be giving a talk at a pretty special event down in your neck of the woods in California, right?
Yeah, it's a monthly holistic fair.
Mm-hmm.
And there's usually maybe about 35 different practitioners there doing a wide variety of different things, and at different price points as well. There's also some free lectures, and yes, and so certainly some of the classes are available, and practitioners are also available online as well. So that's from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. And I'll be there doing readings.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. And then my contact info, I have a website, givingtreefarm.com. You can find out all the things I'm doing there. You can contact me via text or phone at 541-344-7534. My email is givingtree@earthlink.net, and my Facebook page is Giving Tree Farm Herb Company. So I want to thank Sky again for coming on the show. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing job. So thank you, Sky, for that. And we're so glad to have you back. And definitely, yeah, good to know that you're welcome. You're willing to come on anytime, because we will definitely have you on more often and as many times as possible. So excited for that. So if you're new to the show, just be aware that we have a lot of archive videos in our channel, Psychic Funhouse. You're welcome to take a look at. We also offer the show every Friday from this time, live from 6 to 7. And if we have a guest, 7:30 p.m. at an extra half hour, so you get all the goodness you can out of that. And follow us on the show, subscribe so you never miss a show, and tell a friend. And we will see you next time. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, and we will definitely catch up with you next time.
Okay.
Great.
Blessings, everyone.
All right. Yep. Thanks so much.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
All righty.